Peace, family. So I'm back with another one. Today what I want to do is I wanted to discuss the one thing that you can always change, even if all else outside of you fails, is yourself. You can always change yourself. Humans, spiritual beings having a human experience, mankind, whatever name, word you want to put on there, right? We've always had the ability to change us from within outwardly. You know what I mean? So that's why a lot of the times now with the new movements that's going on, a lot of it is more so focused on the sweet part, the whipped creams, the cherries, and all that other stuff, But in all actuality, it's never going to be an easy process, changing and shifting yourself or your thought process. So when I say this, I don't mean change who you are if you're an organic being. If you're someone who follows the natural flow, you're highly empathetic, you do things to benefit the ones around you. You're more of a selfless being than a selfish being. You're just going to grow and ascend. That's not directed for you, But for the ones who are not in that space quite yet, you are allowed and you will have to shift and change yourself. And I gave the example to break it down that way because even if we add the other ones in the picture who are vibrating on a certain frequency, they are following natural flow, right? It will still be positions and times where they and I will also be in a vicinity where I can focus my energy on my boss or my person or whatever the situation may be. I could focus it on all the things that's pissing me off that they're doing or they're not doing. And I can see how far that gets me. That's a percentage of it. But the bigger picture of it is once I evaluate and I see the percentage that they play, I have to look at myself. And then I have to look at the position and the percentage that I played. And I have the choice and free will to do something about the role and position that I play. I can adjust it and I can redirect it. So an example would be like, say you was living with somebody, right? But you kind of used to being in your own space. Then with you being in their space now, you kind of minimize the other things that you had when you was in your own space, right? So now you're in their space, so now you already understand you have their rules. Even if you get to make your own rules, you're still in their space, you're still not in your own space, right? So now you're in their energy frequency, their physical frequency, meaning their household, and then their temple as well too. So when you're engaging and say they have their own routine and their own things that they do, and yours kind of mesh with theirs, but you're in their living situation and maybe you're in this position where you have to live there, that's all you have, blah 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 blah, until you figure out your next step. This being, let's say this being is just making life harder for you because now it's weird energy created between y'all. So now they're let's just say they're like keeping the toilet seats up or down, whichever sex you are, just doing the opposite of what you are, water's on the floor, not cleaned up behind themselves, even though it's their space, you know what I'm saying? They're like eating your food that's in the fridge that you fixed for yourself, but now they're touching it, just doing little stuff, moving your keys, just all these little things, right? You can take a percentage of it and look at everything that they're doing to affect your energy and everything that they're doing that is affecting your energy, even if it's not intentional. But then you have to look at a huge percentage of it as if okay, how much am I in control of what is going on out here? And one thing we always in control over is our energy and motion. So if you are getting worked up, you're getting frustrated, you're getting angry, you had going through all these emotions that are not of a peaceful state. I'm just going to say that because they're not always bad. They're just not of a peaceful state. If you're angry, you're not in a peaceful space. If you're frustrated, you're not in a peaceful space. You know what I'm saying? that's one thing that you have control on, is how you respond and engage. So for me, like an example I could give, a personal example would be like, the last video I was talking about how I was in this transitioning space and things going on, right? And there was other people around me sporadically as I was going through this transitioning phase. Now these other people seeing what was going on and transpiring around me, you know, but they only chose to assist or do something where they chose to, which is completely fine. That's a percentage of it. You know what I'm saying? But the bigger picture of it is, even if I said this was my person and these are things that they're doing on the outside, it's still a huge percentage that I have to look at for myself, in myself, you know? So it's always gonna be room to grow, shift, and elevate. But the thing is, it's like just being aware of what's actually happening and going on around you while you're in these places and spaces. Because like, when you work in a job, let's say you worked a job for like, I don't know, a year or two. Let's just say you worked a job for 2 years. Like the first 3 months, 6 months is probably cool, right? And then you got the next 6 months to 9 months where now you're starting to actually see people for who they are. You know, no more mask, no more, all that shit is out the window, all right? But you still have to work there because in your location, maybe there's not a lot of plantations hiring. I don't really like calling them jobs. They just, for me, plantations just work. It just helps me understand we are in modern slavery. I won't let the witch spells work on me. I know that we should not be working for them. If I'm going to work for somebody, I would much rather work for friends and family, to be honest with you. At least I'll be making them money opposed from making the corporate place money and making me money, which will be pennies on a dollar at a time. You know what I'm saying? But let's say you get past the first couple months, you know, and you into the next dosage of months, and now everybody's true colors is showing. You've been frustrated this whole time in between the 6 to 9 months where all of this shit has been going on. But now you're at a space to where it's like, all right, well, I'm not about to move locations, but I don't want to sit in this energy every day I'm out here at the job. So now what you have to do is you have to rearrange your inner thought process, and you have to tell yourself now, all right, well, I know that Tommy and Susan, they always try to do this weird thing in the lunchroom and create these weird conversations, you know, that get me riled up. So what I'm gonna do is now, since I've already been here long enough and I already know the ins and outs, now I'm gonna avoid the lunchroom at these hours. Or if I take the lunchroom on these hours, I'm gonna put both of my AirPods in or earbuds, so that way they can clearly see that I'm busy. And I will tell them that I'm busy, or I will show them that I'm busy. You know what I'm saying? But it's coming up with little tactics and ways to, that way you can manage your energy better in the process. You know what I mean? So like, it's gonna be a million kinds of situations that's gonna be having you screwed within. But it's your job to balance your energy. For me, I know the more I can keep my energy balanced, the better it is for me making my next decisions moving forward. Whether it's what I'm gonna eat for the next day, or for the day in the next 20, 30 minutes, or whether it's what I got lined up for the next week or 2 or 3, you know, as far as like how much work and content I wanna do, like with other areas I wanna start building and finessing, and just all of these things. But it's something that I had to be aware of, and I kind of pay attention with my daughter as well too. So she has this situation to where she already know, and I teach her, she already understands, all right, your mom is a full-out witch, all right? So when your mom is forcing you to lie at a young age and then using you to control and manipulate the spouse, she already understands that something doesn't feel right. This isn't right. You know, I had one situation like recently where, past couple weeks, where like my daughter called, but when my daughter calls, it's usually my BM on the phone first. But when my daughter's with me and she want to call her mom, I just give her the phone and let her call. I don't need to be right here trying to dictate and control everything. But when she called, she said, my band was like, yeah, Lexi wanted to talk to you. First thing my daughter said, I did not want to talk to you, Daddy. I didn't want to talk to you. I didn't want to talk to you. I was just taking my bath. I didn't want to talk to you. So I knew right away that when she said that, it wasn't like she don't want to talk to me. She was just saying it as if, all right, mommy's using me to kind of manipulate or to control daddy's energy. And in my world, it's like, all right, well, I done signed up for this, so I already know what to expect. So now we're getting into a different space to where my daughter is more aware and more understanding of what's actually going on with the energies. So my daughter knows that, okay, if I don't do what mommy say right now, or if I don't say what she needs me to say, I'm gonna be in trouble. I'm gonna have to do A, B, C, and D. But if I say what mommy want me to say, or just do these witchy tactics, she'll let me do B, C, D, E, F, G. You know what I'm saying? And she already understands, all right, look, daddy already know that I love him and I always want to give him my time and energy. So if I have to say things to him because my mom is right here over my shoulder making me manipulate the situation, then I'll do it. But I know my dad is really good at reading my energy, and he can know that I do not mean the shit that I'm saying. And this is a process that we constantly have to go through, but I signed up for it, so I'm not angry or mad at it. You know what I'm saying? I have to take the learning lessons. If I'm not learning from the lessons, then I'm not progressing. And I just did that. If I'm not learning from the lessons, then I'm not progressing. So I have to intake that myself as well too. You know what I'm saying? It's not always about pointing the finger. You only can point the finger outwardly at a percentage, but then you have to take another huge percentage to point it at yourself. You know what I'm saying? But I ain't want to run it up too long. Tapping everything down below. Peace and love to the kings and queens.